So a question I get asked all the time is, why do I love recruiting as much as I do? And to me, the answer is very easy. You can always expect the unexpected, and recruiting is going to give you fireworks. And perhaps there's no better example than a commitment we saw yesterday on July 4th for a 5-star wide receiver out the state of Alabama, who the Auburn Tigers look to be in a fantastic spot for, who inevitably committed to Jimbo Fisher and Texas A&M. And of course, today, we're talking about the 5-star wide receiver Cam Coleman and why this is a huge win for the Aggies. Before we can, as always, y'all know the drill. I have got to hear from you. Hop down to the comments, give me a Y for yes or an N for no. Are you excited that Coleman commits to Texas A&M? And let me know what you're thinking. If you're new to the channel, be sure to subscribe, hit that bell notification. I do constant college football content. You don't want to miss any of it, and if you enjoyed the content, be sure to like and comment down below, as those interactions seem small. They are massive to content creators such as myself. But having said all that, let's jump right into this. And first and foremost, let's answer the question, who is Cameron Coleman? And Cam Coleman is one of the top prospects in high school football, regardless of position. Specifically, he comes in as the number 11 player in the nation. He comes in as the number 3 wide receiver and the number 1 player in the state of Alabama, and he stands 6'3", 180 pounds. And when you turn on the film, there's no shortage of things he can do. This is a do-it-all wide receiver prospect, the type that any college in the nation would be over the moon if he was to commit to their school. So for Texas A&M, this is a phenomenal win. You never argue with getting in players like Cameron Coleman because you know they can hit the ground running. He can come in, and there are talented wide receivers at Texas A&M. Names we will break down here very shortly. This is still a guy that could pave a way to seeing playing time early amongst the talent they already have. He truly has that ability. But now let's talk about this battle, because for a long time, this looked to be an Auburn win, and then comes Texas A&M. First and foremost, I think we need to acknowledge that Coach Craig, Texas A&M's wide receiver coach, is an elite recruiter. If we look at this dude's resume, he's been able to win 7 5-stars, 14 players who were the top 100 in their respective recruiting classes, and a long list of blue chip guys outside of that. Basically, what you need to know is this guy walks into a living room, the battle just got serious. He has consistently been able to bring in top talent and consistently proves that's not going to change anytime soon. So A&M fans everywhere have got to love Coach Craig is for them. But for Auburn, I think that there were a few factors here. First and foremost, Hugh puts together powerful, explosive offenses. Everybody in college football who watched Hugh at Ole Miss, everybody in college football who followed Hugh after, we can all acknowledge that point. His offenses are going to put up numbers. However, I think there are far more questions at Auburn right now than there are at Texas A&M, and that's not to say that there aren't questions at Texas A&M. I have asked questions about Texas A&M. I still have questions about Texas A&M. But when I mean I think there are less questions at Texas A&M than at Auburn, I think if you're Cameron Coleman and you're listening to the two staffs pitch to you, A&M has a little bit of a leg up because they can point to the 5-star quarterback. They can point to Moose Muhammad. They can point to Evan Stewart and say, hey, you're not going to have to worry about having everybody have all eyes on you. They're going to worry about Evan Stewart. They're going to worry about Moose Muhammad. We put you out there. They're not going to be able to stop you all. And oh yeah, by the way, we have a 5-star quarterback and a 5-star running back in Reuben Owens and an offensive line who we have faith in. I think that presents a lot more answers than does Auburn. Where Auburn, you know Hugh is going to put together an offense that's going to put up numbers, but you kind of need to see it be built right now. There's been a ton of chaos at Auburn right now, and the Auburn faithful are hoping Hugh can come in there and quell that chaos. But at the end of the day, I think that that's something worth talking about. And I do kind of want to talk about my questions for Texas A&M, because even though I believe there are less questions at Texas A&M than there are at Auburn, I don't think that means that Texas A&M is without questions. I think if we're being as objective as possible, there are very serious questions about Jimbo Fisher and Texas A&M this year. Look, we talk about this with Steve Sarkisian and the Texas Longhorns, that this is a massive year for Texas football. The Texas Longhorns move next year to the SEC from the Big 12. If Texas is going to win a Big 12 championship, not only is it their last opportunity to do so, it might be their best opportunity to do so in quite some time. I'm interested to see whether or not they'll be able to capitalize that. While Texas A&M isn't moving conferences, They're still a deep team. They have got a lot of talent, and the results need to start being shown. Last year was a real tough year for A&M fans everywhere to watch, and one of my biggest questions for Texas A&M that I already made a video on not long ago is what's the standard of acceptance? Because Jimbo Fisher is getting contract extensions, he's getting paid like Kirby Smart, like Nick Saban, but he's not giving you Kirby Smart or Nick Saban results. Yes, you can point to me the recruiting classes, and they've been able to recruit very well, no arguments here, but I think that can create even more questions, because then you're saying, okay, well, we have a talented team, but we're still not getting the results we're hoping for. This year is going to be big. Petrino coming in as the offensive coordinator could turn this Texas A&M offense around, and if that's the case, they certainly have the talent to be able to hurt teams. Evan Stewart, Moose Muhammad, I mean, those guys are phenomenally gifted. You know, Anaya Smith isn't there anymore. Anaya Smith may not be there anymore, but you feel very good about those guys on the outside. And A-Chain's not there anymore. I thought that was one of the most underrated players in all of college football, and I said that multiple times. But you get in a 5-star running back in Ruben Owens, someone you have got to feel very good with, someone you've got to feel very comfortable with. So, for Texas A&M, this is a huge win. What does it mean for their recruiting class? Well, it puts them within the top 10 recruiting classes in the nation, and interesting to note, they come in at number 9 with the least amount of commits of any team within the top 10. So, suffice to say, if you're an A&M fan, you've got to love where you sit. Hop down to the comments, let me know what you're thinking about this. That's it. See you.